Wow. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, it's not my chairman anymore. He's not my chairman anymore. What is going on? The bomber of all bombers on Thursday, 4th of September at 5:45. My ex-chairman, Daniel Levy, has stepped down from Tottenham Hotspur's chairmanship role. We've got an announcement. It's just dropped right now. This is breaking news of the most breaking type. Strap yourselves in. Those of you that were Levy out, you got your way? You got your way? What are we going to do now? Which direction are we going? This is going to be massive. There's never a dull day at Tottenham, is there? Just when you're strapping yourselves in, just as you are strapping yourselves in to a boring international break post-transfer window doldrum, this drops. What is crack-a-lacking, people? Smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe if you haven't already. What a bomber. I was just about to have a little kip before the Spurs 5. Just dozing off. And then this one absolutely comes out of nowhere. It's huge. Guys, it's absolutely huge. Let's take a little look-see. I haven't even read the article yet. I haven't even read it. We're reading this together. We are reading this together. Let's have a look-see. Thursday, it literally dropped 15 or 19 minutes ago. Tottenham Hotspur announces that Daniel Levy has today stepped down from his role as executive chairman after 25 years, nearly 25 years. I need a gin. I need a gin. Cheers. Tottenham Hotspur have been transformed over the last quarter of a century. It has played in European competitions in the last 18 of the last 20 seasons, becoming one of the world's most recognised football clubs, consistently investing in its academy, players and facilities, including a new world-class stadium and state-of-the-art training centre. The club has also competed regularly at the highest level, enjoying a number of fantastic on-field successes, including the recent Europa League win. As part of its succession planning, the club has made a number of senior appointments in recent months. Vinay Venkatesham was hired as Chief Executive Officer, with Thomas Frank as our new men's head coach and Martin Ho as women's head coach. Peter Charrington joined the board and will step into the newly created role of non-executive chairman. My non-executive chairman. This is all part of the club's ambition to ensure that it is set up to deliver long-term sporting success. Daniel Levy said, "I am incredibly proud of the work I have done together with the executive team and all our employees. We have built this club into a global heavyweight competing at the highest level. More than that, we have built a community. I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in this sport, from the team at Lily White House and Hotspur Way to all the players and managers over the years, of which there's been a lot. I wish to thank all the fans that have supported me over the years." That's all right, mate. I've always been there for you. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made. I will continue to support this club passionately. Peter Charrington, non-executive chairman, said, "My non-executive chairman, I am very honoured to become non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club. And on behalf of the board, I would like to thank Daniel and his family for their commitment and loyalty to the club over so many years. This is a new era of leadership for the club on and off the pitch. I do recognise there has been a lot of changes in recent months as we put in place new foundations for the future. We are now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club, led by Vinay and his executive team. There are no changes to the ownership or shareholder structure of the club." I mean, wow diddly owsers, people. Wow diddly owsers. What the hell has happened? This is absolutely insane. Let me just quickly bring someone else in here. How we doing? Ian, how are you, mate?
Gobsmacked.
It's massive.
There are some news stories in any walk of life, whether in politics or whatever, that absolutely take your breath away. And this is one of them. I mean, because the story isn't what, is it? The story is why. Um, and I think that's going to be as we develop tonight. I mean, we will go on diehards. We will stream diehards tonight at some point, Sean, and maybe feel welcome to join us because you won't be able to do your own show all night, hopefully,
I've got the
because
Spurs
it's
5
trying
at
to
8 p.m.,
get
mate.
trying to get a feel. I mean, but what can we write into it? Timing 2 days after the transfer window, during the middle of an international break where there's no domestic football. I mean, where are we now? Thursday, no domestic football for 9 days to let the dust settle. There's no change in ownership. The only change, as I see it, to the executive team is that Peter Carrington, who's a non-executive director, is going to be the non-executive chairman. As opposed to Daniel being the executive chairman. Obviously, Venkat, I'll use the old cricket name, is going to take a bigger role in the club. But beyond that, nothing appears to be changing.
The change is all about who's pulling the strings.
Well,
Daniel Levy's not going to
I
be in
was just
charge
going to
anymore.
go. Yeah, I was just going to go on and say there have been rumours in the summer of conflict between Levy and the Lewis family and their trust and his children and what have you. The story will come out eventually, but if I was a betting man, I would be saying that this is a battle between Levy and Lewis, or at least their families, and well, 65% as opposed to 35% wins every time. And at the end of the
He
day, the
still has
Lewis
a boss, right? He still has a boss, and he's been sidelined. Whether or not he was happy to take the role, there's no the details will fall out there. But you know what? People like Matt Law are going to come out with their spin on this and probably say it and probably get a lot of it wrong. Big up to you, Adrian, as well. This is it's massive in as much as the time. And you say it's not so much about the what. I think it's about the what next more than anything. Like the why is irrelevant. The why is irrelevant. Like whether or not Daniel Levy, is it has stepped aside, or whether he's been forced. At the end of the day, he's not going to be pulling the strings anymore. So we've got a new guy in charge. Vinay will clearly have his own mandate. He will have his own ability. Paratici, if he's coming back in, it's not so much what, it's what's next. And what's next for me looks like we're going to have somebody else that's making the final decisions around transfers, the final decisions around the negotiations. On that basis, does that start today, or did that start at the start of the summer? It was only a couple of weeks ago we had the interview, Adrian, right? We had the interview where when he said he still gets involved in every transfer.
We all, even when you was bigging it up, we were going to break our transfer record, Sean, and pay best wages ever. We all smelt that when Charrington came on board, and he's very close to Vivian Lewis and Charlie Lewis, the children of Joe Lewis as well. So I think there's been a power shift. Levy's going to keep his stake; he'd never give it up, and he might even remain in charge of some of the companies to do with construction work around there, or have investments, whatever. Because there's a lot of companies on that financial report, aren't there? There's about 12 or 14 or something. There might be more now. I don't know. I looked. The last one I looked at was about 2 seasons ago. Yeah, I mean, like, this has come. I think it's a good thing for the club. I think Charrington's more forward thinking. I mean, like, he'll want to push on. We've shown signs of it in this transfer window. I think he has the full backing of Lewis and Charlie. I don't think Joe Lewis is that interested once he put the club in a trust. So out through their lawyers in the Bahamas.
But Adrian, and you, Sean, because your show, Sean, is this the fact that the Lewis family want now to be investing? There's always been the criticism of our mutual friends, the Levy outers, that Levy and Lewis don't put enough money of their own money into running the club, and that's held the club back. Is this now a sign that they're going to be putting, the Lewis family are going to be putting more of the Lewis Trust money into the club?
Or if they're getting investment, they haven't shown that in the past. We spent reasonably well, about 136 mil net spend in the transfer market, rumored to have 200 mil. That's the rumor. You're not going to get that from naming rights, because 25 million a year for 10, 20, 25 years, whatever it's 500 million, that's only going to pay the interest on our debt. So there's got to be other form of investment coming in. Would he invest money? To be honest, I don't think so. Sure, you're more of a money man, right? I'm not going to get in a ring with you of finances, but I mean, if you invest in, you want a return, don't you? I mean, unless you're in it for ego, unless you the whole situation the club as a trophy wife, unless you're a mega rich state investor or American company that wants Spurs to show off as a trophy to enhance their global brand. I've said this before. Why would you bother buying into a football club when there's no way you're going to make money? And no matter how much money you spend on players, Sugar summed up. He said, if I spent all my wealth on players and walked away, what thanks would I get? He would get none. Fans would want the next time to do the same thing. So if you're buying a football club nowadays, you buy it because you're not there to make money. You buy it because if you were saying Meta or Alphabet that own Google that are worth $1 trillion, say, whatever, or an Elon Musk, you would buy it because you've already involved in hundreds of companies. You've already got thousands of partners.
I know, I completely disagree with that.
I disagree with that. Take a stake in Spurs, all your partners are going to want a stake. You can enhance your global brand and make money that way. You don't make money out of a football club, Sean. You don't. I don't see how you do. But back to you.
Well, 100% you do. Like 100% you do. Like the overall valuation. Like no one buys into a business just to lose money. That's ridiculous. But the reality is that this is the situation. But big up to you, James. This is the kind of some of the rumours that were happening back in May when Matt Law and all these guys, the Telegraph and the Times and that, they were all saying there's massive changes coming. Daniel Levy was going to be sidelined primarily, and the rumours were at the time that Daniel Levy had been cop blocking investment. That he basically was saying, like, you know, the deals were happening with Qatar, potentially deals were happening with Saudi, deals were happening with Stavely, all of these things. People wanted to get involved, but at the 11th hour, all of the time, Daniel Levy was moving the goalpost, trying to get himself either some sort of stay of execution, trying to make sure that he had his salary coming. And we were saying this, Johnny and I were saying this back in May. I was saying this for a long time, actually, that there was, in all likelihood, Daniel Levy sitting there thinking, well, if we get new investment in, if they want me to go, then I'm not going to get, I'm to your point, Adrian, like the investment in and of itself, unless you get a full takeover, you don't get your payout. If you just get a small investment in, unless the dividends start getting paid out, then you still don't get any money. So the Lewises haven't taken a penny out. They haven't got paid a penny in dividends. They haven't got paid a penny in salary. They haven't got paid a penny for the last 25 years. Whereas Daniel Levy's taken close to, 60 million quid in salary and different compensation packages. And so part of that rumor, part of that kind of suggestion was that Daniel Levy kept putting the cop block on any transfer because he wanted to keep his own cash cow going, and the Lewises now have had enough of it. And so they've come in, and basically Charrington's come in and said, step to one side, mate.
Where they've made is
28% owner. Hang on, Adrian. You're still 28% owner in the in ENIC, or whatever it is, 25% owner in ENIC. But you're not going to be in charge of the takeover anymore. So I think this is the first sign of actually the first physical, rather than just rumours, the first physical sign of potentially some sort of new investment that's going to be made. That's going to be made very clear very soon, hopefully. James, what's your take on it, mate?
I think you've just summed it up perfectly. But at the end of the day, if you're 75% of the owner, and you've got a guy in 25%, and he's going, I'm just going to kind of use rumours as such. PSG owner wants to buy Tottenham, which we heard that he wanted to buy. If they're saying, look, 4 or 5 million, a billion, and we'll buy them, and Leeds go, well, what about 5.5, 6.5, 6? It's okay him doing that, because at the end of the day, like Adrian said, you don't buy a football club to make money. These guys have made big money just by sitting on their profit and investing in what they've got. So for me, if you're the owner and you realise, look, my time's to go now. So if this Lewis family is saying, look, my time's to go, and they are getting offered, if say, for example, he owns 20, they're getting 4 billion, they've got a chance to pull 3 billion and leave. I'm sorry. I think that's why he's come in, and it's not anybody that's come in. It's their accountant. Isn't it their accountant that's come in now?
He was the financial advisor for the.
So it's not like they've gone, you random guy, come and have a look. They've gone, hold on a minute. How much money am I making? How much are we worth? Go down there and have a look. He's gone through the numbers and gone, look, in my opinion, you're sitting on a gold mine here. We should sell it while profit's high. The only way it's going to get higher is if you're going to pump loads and loads of money and you start turning them into European champions, Premier League champions. So for me, you're at that point where you sell now or you invest big to kind of go to the next level. And my opinion is they've got as far as they can. They need to sell now.
Yeah, I think that's true. I genuinely think this is the first physical visual sign of that plan that was laid out in May, that was coming out from all the journalists saying that this is that Daniel Levy has been potentially cop blocking moves earlier than now, and the Lewises are getting pissed off with the fact that there's no light at the end of the tunnel for them.
Sean, let's go back nearly 2 years now. That annual report when Levy said that to expand we need to expand the business, we needed to expand the equity base of the company.
Correct.
So that starts to resonate now as well. That new shareholding and new money is likely to come. It's whether, I guess, going James's point as well is, because we're all flying blind a little bit here, but is this now that ENIC are going to sell the company completely, or are they going to sell a significant minority stake, or are they going to sell a significant minority stake with a view to selling a complete stake over the course of, say, 5 years or whatever? I think this will all come out quite quickly now. I can't see this as a story that can be kept under wraps, whether it's the Staveleys, the Qataris, or whatever. That's going to be something that can be kept under wraps for very long. I mean, what the hell? I mean, as I said earlier, that some news stories absolutely knock you down with a feather, and that no one was anticipating this afternoon.
How do you read into it? The equity of ENIC's gone up exponentially since they bought the club for what looks like peanuts now. But if Charrington, who's a lawyer in Bahamas, is very close to Joe Lewis and Vivian Lewis and Charlie Lewis, right? If he's coming as non-executive chairman, I mean, it doesn't smell to me that ENIC want to sell. It smells to me they'd like.
Well, no, I don't think you can say that. I mean, he was a non-executive director. They've lost the chairman. Daniel's the chairman. Somebody has to be the chairman. I think the fact that they haven't brought in an executive chairman, there's not brought in a new senior executive to oversee this, would imply you wouldn't bring somebody in who might be there 5 minutes before they sell. The fact that Carrington's there as the non-executive chairman and no other changes have been made to the executive team would suggest that a takeover or a sale. Otherwise, you'd be bringing in additional members of your executive team at the very highest level, and they haven't done that. Sean, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think to me, my first look, we're all running blind on the story. There's no details. He just says that nothing's changing with the ownership structure. So ENIC is still in charge. ENIC still owners. Levy's still got his slice of the pie via his investment in ENIC. The 12-13% of minority shareholders are still there. Nothing changes, but the decision making. Daniel Levy is no longer chairman, therefore he's no longer in charge of decisions. Charrington is now in charge of decisions, hiring and firing. He's the non-executive chairman. That means that he's now the guy that's got the power of attorney, if you like. He's got the kind of reins, and that Vinay is going to be the guy who's probably doing the footballing matters, because Charrington has got no idea about football. He's just he's a money guy, right? He's just another money guy. But my question is really, like, let's just go back in time, literally a month. The Gary Neville interview, which would have been recorded about a week or two before we saw it, Daniel Levy said, I'm still involved in all the transfers. So was Daniel Levy involved in the Eze story? Was Daniel Levy involved in the Morgan Gibbs-White debacle? If the answer is yes, then this announcement doesn't affect what happened in the whole window. The window was still Daniel Levy's, but as of today and moving forward, Daniel Levy is no longer in charge of the deals. If the answer is no, then this window wasn't Daniel Levy's, it was somebody else's, it was Vinay's. But I don't like, there's a lot of mixed messages here. Like he said what he said in the interview, which could only have been recorded a week before we saw it. And also, like, you think about the Eze story, there were rumours out that Parish went to Chelsea, was at the Chelsea game, the Palace-Chelsea game, and was saying that Daniel Levy sort of was made that whole deal exhausting. So was this window Daniel Levy's, or was this window someone else's? Why now? Why on the 4th of September? Like, it's quite a wild. This is absolutely quite wild.
Mm.
But we're all just speculating. But surely that means that going forward now, the next inevitable thing between now and Christmas, between now and January, there will, in all likelihood, be rumours around investment. And if Daniel Levy is the reason why those things were blocked for whatever reason, Daniel Levy said, at the time, look, we can do this, we can do that, but I still want to stay on as chairman. I still want to have my 5-year window and get my. If all of that stuff's no longer on the table anymore, then there should be a significant cash injection coming, and it might be via someone that, that has a relationship with money that we could all get excited about.
Yeah.
Go on, Ian.
Yeah, well, no, go on quickly because there's going to be James wants to come in as well.
I don't see a complete buyout, Sean. I see an investment, because then you've got to buy out the 13,000. I thought it was 30,000 investors, small investors, but it might, but semantics anyway. 30,000. They're small investors. That's more complex deal to do. I can see an investor come in. It may well be an American investor, or it may well be a Middle Eastern investor. So. If Levy put a block on it before, maybe it was because of political sensitivities. But whoever comes in as a multi-billionaire, there's always going to be political insensitivity surrounding anyone who comes and invests a large sum of money like that, and how they earn their money in the first place. So, I see an investor coming in. I haven't got a clue whether it's American or Middle Eastern, though. I mean,
you say things like it takes a long time, or it's not just done overnight. So, like the investors. If you think that they've woke up this morning and Daniel Levy's quit and then it's all gone on there, then I'm sorry, then that's not how it works. We've been hearing of rumours.
James. I'm talking about full takeover is complex with 30.
Yeah, but we've been hearing about this for 2 or 3 years.
I know, but
it's not like we've woken up today and it's like, oh yeah, no, this takes a long time. We've been hearing about this for a long time.
But there's been rumours of an investment before this transfer window even opened, right?
That's what I'm saying. So you can't say it takes too long. It's too big to do.
One at a time.
I said I believe it'll be an American or Middle Eastern investor come in, but it won't be. I don't see the whole club being bought. But I could be wrong on that. But I just don't see it, because that is too complicated to do. That's got to go.
It's not complicated.
No. Look. If a new buyer comes in, for example, and buys Levy's shares, if he sells them, right, that's fine. They've now got a stake in the club, right? Now, if you want to come in and buy Enix shares and Levy shares and the 30,000 investors, that all has to go through their shareholders. So that all has to be done legally. It's very complex to do. It's not easy.
Yeah, but of course. But this has been going on for years. This hasn't been like a wake up today and Daniel Levy's gone. It's been going on for a long, long time. We heard about Lewis, like we said, over a year ago. It was 2 years ago, about the PSG investors. We've heard about this for a long, long time. It's not like we've woke up and all of a sudden, out of the blue, we're looking to sell. It hasn't been like that. We've been linked for ages. And at the end of the day, I can only say we've heard a lot about Saudi Arabia and is it Armaco from Formula One? We've heard a lot about those guys getting involved. And if it is those guys ain't going to haggle over 30,000 shares or whoever it is. They're going to go in and buy their club and do what they want to do. It's not hard when you've got that kind of money.
I mean, this is massive news. Massive news. I suppose it was like, let's get the window done, just because there's all that kind of distraction. Yeah. Maybe that also explains why there was a lot of like late business in the window rather than early stuff, because all of these things were happening at the same time. People were getting frustrated with why the window was like dragged out, why there were so many missed opportunities, why couldn't we get our business done earlier? Maybe there was a hell of a lot of backroom shenanigans, a lot of arguments. We were talking about this forever. We were talking about this forever on this channel, and this is absolutely it explains in the absence or in the ignorance of the truth. You can at least sort of speculate here, and it kind of explains a hell of a lot of what happened on this particular window. Someone was just trying to jump into the stream and he's disappeared again.
Yeah, but, sure. Yeah. Can I ask you a question, Sean? Because you're pretty hot on this stuff. There's been talk about an outside investor, as you know. for some while. But I'm wondering if this is actually a battle, the end of a battle between Daniel Levy and is it Charlie and Vivian Lewis?
Lewis.
Now, Joe is pushing 90. The kids must have in trusts and what have you more money than they or their children or their children's children could ever need. There's been rumours circulating. We all know, the rumour mill. Don't take it too seriously. That the Lewis family has wanted to invest more of the family's money into the club because they are genuine supporters, whereas we sometimes think Levy is much more of a plastic supporter, and that getting Daniel out is going to free the club up to make more of the Lewis Trust money and the Lewis family money available for the football club to spend.
Yeah. Look, I mean, welcome, Chad. I mean, there's definitely been rumours about there been some conflict. We are absolutely all guessing here.
Yeah,
I tell you what, it definitely suggests that there's going to be some a lot of interesting, I guess, updates over the coming weeks as you lead into January window. Because if we do get any official announcement about some money coming in now, again, it makes you think about the chronological order of everything. Because go on, Joe.
Sorry, but doesn't it make sense? Well, I mean, I'm in my own head. Kind of almost makes sense now for the loans, doesn't it? Polini is old, very good in his position, but if there's new owners coming in, they may have their eye on whoever. The new striker / winger, he's one of those ones again. Come and prove yourself. You could be top class, you could be crap. Like, you got your point to prove. I mean, Kudos and Javier are class, so it makes sense to buy that. I think they work in any team, any system, any manager. I think they're class. So it might be very smart that he's done what they've done. The only thing I would say is, even though he stepped down, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to sell his stakes either. He could just be can't be asked with
his stake is tied up into ENIC.
That's what I'm saying. So he could just be sitting back there now and thinking, right, I've done my bit. I ain't going to spend any more money, do any more hours. I'm just sit here. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to sell, but it's a good start. It's a bit positive.
It could also just mean, Daniel Levy spent 25 years taking heat from everybody.
That's what I mean, yeah.
And if eventually he's got himself a Europa League title, he's got the club have earned a Europa League title. If the buck stops at the top, as people suggest it does, then then he's part of that story. And he's done that the organic way, whilst trying to compete with people that do things by the sort of the kind of proliferation of the rules kind of method. And now that he's got that, he's like, well, okay, now I've got my cherry on top. I can sort of sail off into the sunset, hand over the strain to someone else. Chad, welcome to the show, mate. How are you, buddy?
I went out to get lunch.
A Levy lunch, this is it.
Yeah. That was, oh man. I look at it a little bit differently than before I jumped on. I heard you guys talking about it a little bit. Like, they've owned the club for 20 years, right? None of this stuff is happening, knee-jerk reaction. Like, I think there's an exit strategy. I think there's an exit plan. And do I think Levy screwed it up a little bit? Yeah, like, is he kind of the thorn in the side of the overall plan? I definitely think so. Like, even if you go back to the whole the rumor of Qataris taking over and then Levy, I think you guys talked about this already, like Levy throwing in all these. It seems like he was acting like how he does in the transfer, right? It's like, a little bit more, right? Yeah. And he's annoying and he's just kind of like not that great to do business with. So I kind of think this is all planned out. I know that they're saying that there's not going to be any change in the executive, at the executive level, but they're not going to say that out of the gate. Like, I wouldn't be surprised in a month or so something else comes out and we're like, they just said, like that interview. What is he supposed to say in that interview with Gary Neville? Oh, just so you know, guys, in 3 weeks I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So
he wasn't going to drop a bomber on Gary Neville's podcast, was he?
Yeah. Like, we're in a what they call like a need to know basis.
Yeah.
You don't need to know a lot of stuff until stuff like this happens. So
that's true.
If you can read between the lines, like you guys are saying, this has been going on for 2 years, the whispers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm 1,000% sure that this is like a way bigger thing than just him stepping down. That could be outside money getting poured into ENIC, and then ENIC still holds the club, but it's not really the ENIC that we know. It could
Yeah.
be. It could be, like the Americans or the Middle Eastern or whoever, like they're, because
I mean,
didn't they say one of those? They were like, they had a deal in place, and then they're like, yeah, Levy can't be a part of this, and then that's where it all went to crap. So this could be the first major move to a bigger thing, but I definitely don't think we know everything that's happening.
No, Sean, I wonder as well. I mean, I haven't got the statement in front of me because I'm talking to you and I'm just on my phone. But it talks about him stepping down from Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Is that right? It didn't say stepping down from ENIC or
no. It just said he's stepped down from his role as executive chairman after nearly 25 years. That's all it says.
He's not the chairman of ENIC though, is he?
No. He's just.
So
what
I'm wondering is, I mean, and you'd think the statement would have said that if that was the plan. I mean, I get the feeling he's been punted out, and I get the feeling he's been punted out rather quicker than he expected. Because I don't think if he was anticipating this, he'd have done that interview with Neville or anything else, or even that thing with Vinay about wanting to win the Champions League and wanting to win the Premier League. I suspect this has been quite a sudden thing. But I'm wondering if his role is with the property companies now, or if he's genuinely going to be ousted completely.
Yeah, look, I mean,
because a lot of the value in the business.
Massively speculating here, but it could end up being that Daniel Levy gets diluted, right? Like when new ownership comes in, they've got to buy shares from someone. They've got to take, if they're going to put 300 million quid in, say for 10%, they've got to take it from someone. Are they going to take Daniel Levy's stake and Daniel Levy sails off into the sunset? Are they just going to take 10%, 15%, or whatever it may be of ENIC, and then everybody at ENIC gets diluted a little bit more because of that? Obviously, there might be a call to arms for the minority shareholders. They might say, look, expressions of interest. Anyone who wants to sell their stock, their shares, will pay you at a certain price per share value in the club at X amount of money. There's all sorts of methods that might pop up here. And it's fascinating. But I tell you what, though, like I can see everyone in the chat going, "Oh, Butler, you're going to be so upset." I love change. I'm always up for change. I've always been more than willing to see something like this happen. It's exciting in principle for me. I'm excited by it. But again, I'm not just going to get on board any old solution. Before I start to back something, I want to know what it looks like. And just this idea of, at the moment, all we know is that Daniel Levy is no longer chairman. By the way, that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have a different role at the football club. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's not necessarily he's still not going to have his hands on transfers in the meantime. There's a hell of a lot that is changing. If let's just say, for example, that Daniel Levy is moved completely to one side, right, and just for the next 6 months you're on gardening leave, Daniel. Well, you got the January window around the corner. Those sorts of conversations around who do you buy, who do you sell, loan deals, all of that stuff. There'll be various talking heads at the club that will be in charge of certain divisions of that. But when it comes to the negotiations, if Daniel Levy's the guy who's been doing all of the final stages of those negotiations for the last 25 years, and now somebody else has to do it, let's say it's a Vinay, for example. Well, by the way, Vinay isn't exactly a pure football guy. He is also a financial guy that just happens to have a bit of a bridge into the world of football, but he wasn't the guy that was writing all the checks when he was in charge of Arsenal. That was Edu and other people. So, like, it's not clear to me. It's a very opaque situation to know that, and you only got a few months until the January window. Who is it that's going to be negotiating those deals? And there's still going to need to be accountants involved in those conversations, because 3/4 of the process of a transfer is not just identifying whether or not you can get the player and whether the selling club wants to sell the player and the player wants to be there. It's figuring out how much cash can be afforded to go up front. How close are you to PSR and FFP? Do you kick the can down the road? What are your commitments from the previous 4 or 5 years in terms of future obligations? What are your future obligations in terms of money coming in or other people's obligations towards you? Creditors and debtors, all of those things. All of that stuff still needs the money men, the bean counters involved. If Daniel Levy's been the guy that's had his hands on those reins and he's now sidelined, who is it that's taking over? Because Charrington is just another money guy. He is a banker. He is not a football person. Vinay is not a pure football person. Paratici is not in charge back in as a director of football role yet. And by the way, he's still got a lot of cloudy kind of clouds over his own head for regards what he managed to get up to when he was in charge of things like that in his time at Juve. So do you really want, like, maybe you're going from out of the frying pan into the fire a little bit in terms of handing over control. It's very, very opaque. It's very interesting. It's somewhat exciting, but I'm sort of cautiously optimistic, but I'm also a little bit terrified because we're walking into the realms of the relative unknown here as Tottenham fans as to who it is that's leading our club going forward.
To take control, though, the easiest way of doing it. I mean, when you look what happened in the past, Sugar didn't sell his shares. He kept a stake. He knew it wasn't a good thing. He only sold his shares when he wanted to, basically, when he decided, right, I've earned enough here, I'll sell the rest of these shares to ENIC, right? So now if you're looking at ENIC, Levy only owns up to 30% of ENIC, 29% of whatever it is. So for a deal to come in and do it, the small shareholders won't matter to anyone coming in buying a stake. They won't bother them, Sean. All they've got to do is go and buy a big chunk of ENIC to have the majority control of the club, 51% or whatever it is. And then they are in control, aren't they? So I think with Charrington being close to Lewis's, I think I could be totally wrong here. I think ENIC are selling a big chunk, but they'll still hang on to shares. They'll still hang on to them because they're going to make money whoever comes in, or their equity will grow under whoever comes in. So that's what I think will happen.
If whoever's coming in is prepared to accept someone else having a minority.
Ian, your mic is gone.
Ian, just quickly, mate. Can you jump out and jump back in again? Your phone is crackling. It sounds like you're Darth Vader or something.
It is me, is it? Yeah, sure.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry, Adrian. Say what you're saying, mate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way to take control of the club is to buy a big chunk of ENIC, basically. Levy can't be forced to sell his shares.
No, of course not.
And neither can the small shareholders. I mean, this is why the easiest deal, I'm saying the easiest deal would be to do is for someone to come in and buy a big chunk of ENIC. And it might be a phased buyout. Because if it's not a trillion company like Alphabet or Elon Musk or something like that, then it might be an agreed phased buyout of shares of ENIC, of chunks of ENIC. And the new owners will come in and have a big say. But I think that's the easiest deal to do.
I don't think it matters about being easy or not easy. If someone wants to buy the club, they'll buy the club. There's no easy, hard or anything about it. It's not like me or you buying it going, how do I buy one share, then the next share, then the next share? These guys have got money to buy the football club. It's not hard for them. It's like, right, I want to do this. I want to buy ENIC. I want to buy XYZ, and they buy it. They put them offer down, they buy it. It's not hard. I personally don't think that Daniel Levy is going to leave the club or we're going to sell. I think that he is literally just going to step back and let somebody else take the criticisms. Well, that's what he thinks.
That's what I've said all along. I don't think ENIC will sell his shares, and I don't think Levy will sell his shares. And I don't think whoever's coming in to invest in his club will be too bothered about the 35 small shareholders, 30,000 or 13. I heard it was 30, but semantics anyway.
I think it's 30,000, but it's 18% of the club, I think, or 12% of the club. I think it's still owned by. But I think it's 30,000 minority shareholders. Can I just do a couple of quick super chats, lads, and then we'll get back to the conversation? So I haven't seen these. Big up to you, Hennessy, 8094, member for 11 months. Thank you very much. He says, I'm available to be chairman, Tottenham. Just an FYI. Big up, panel. Love, as always. Big up to you, Hennessy. I hope you're doing well, mate. Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you for a while, but appreciate your ongoing support. The Bear Nose Vibe, 7878, says, Daniel Levy steps down and runs off with Helga. You leave my Helga alone, Levy. That's enough for you to fall out. I've tolerated a lot from you over the years, but that's something we're not going to handle, not going to tolerate. Iceman163 says, holy shit, about time. Has Christmas come early? Now we can move forward. Come on, you Spurs. The Don is going to cook. Well, the Don's not finished with his own problems yet, mate. So we'll have to find out. This is a crazy, crazy story. We're all going to be speculating for weeks. The club needs to come out and clarify some more detail around who it is that's running the show and what their roles are going to be, because we're all going to be left to wonder otherwise. Appreciate you, Iceman. Dean Law, big up to you, my man. Dean Law's always here with a choo-choo to you. Thank you very much indeed, Deanie. Appreciate you, buddy. Houdini. Adam Fieldman says, Sean, now that's what I call a bomber. Yeah, might be the biggest news of the summer entirely, and it's outside the window. This is wild stuff. Something we're going to be talking about in an hour and 20 minutes. I can't wait to get Lubo and Stell's take on it. I don't know what Lubo's going to talk about now. He spent the last 25 years having only hatred for the man who's now gone. What's he going to talk about now? Appreciate you very much, Adam. Thank you very much, buddy. Jay McCullough 2408 is saying sale incoming. Possibly. I mean, if it's going to be an investment or a sale of any kind, if it comes from a country that already has an ownership structure somewhere in the Premier League, like Saudi, like Qatar, or Qatar's not actually, they're in the PS, they're in Europe, but there are complications to all those things. They have to pass any kind of fit owners test, all that stuff. So I'm sure it's not going to be quick and clean, but it will be interesting if that's what materializes. Appreciate you. Daniel Houston, big up to you, buddy, from Deepest Darkest Peru, says, not at all happy about it, but it is what it is. But at least we know why Charrington and Vinay were bought in. Now the uncertainty begins. I thank Levy for all he's done for the club. As do I, mate. As do I, buddy. I think he's been a good chairman. And, listen, he takes a hell of a lot of heat from people. And that's fine, by the way. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I've always thought he was a better chairman than most people, at least on the online space. Although online space and outside the ground are two very different things. I can't wait to see what Twitter's going on. I bet Twitter is going into meltdown right now. Absolutely insane. Thank you very much, Daniel. I've done this one. Hennessy, I've done the Bears Cave. Daniel came back in with another one saying Peter Charrington is now non-executive chairman of the club, a new role. Yeah, so basically, traditionally, non-executive chairmen just don't have voting rights on the board. I'd be surprised if that stays the same for too long, but he's definitely on the board. But whether he's got voting rights, that's just the traditional difference between non-exec and exec is voting rights. Appreciate you, Daniel. DDMKTHFC 8555 says, not hard to do a multi-billion sale. Wake up. Yeah, exactly. These things are going to take time, my man. They do take a long time. But how far through these things are, we don't know. Don't know anything right now. Massive speculation. Daniel Field, I think I haven't done it, man. Daniel Field, big up to you. Choo to you, my man. We appreciate you very much indeed, Daniel. The Joker said, why not before the window, Sean? Well, yeah, I mean, it's a fair question. Obviously, these things take time, mate. When all this stuff was coming out just after the Europa League, you've just won the Europa League. You just got to make that decision on Ange. You've got to make the decision on a new first team coach. The window's there. Sonny staying, Sonny going. How much money can we spend? You know, there's lots and lots of things going on. Probably a little bit of continuity in that period. And now that we're in the quiet after the window shuts, probably a better time to announce it. But I would imagine that Daniel Levy was just in essentially lame duck mode and chaperoning for the last couple of weeks. Sorry, Ian, yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just want to come in because, I mean, one of the things, I mean, Daniel for everything is Marmite. I mean, some people love him, some people hate him. But I'll say this, that I think that history will be kinder to Levy than a lot of the current talk is. I think when people look back, let's say not now, but in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, maybe there's a takeover, maybe we're starting to compete on a bigger stage, that people will say the work that he did, taking us from a little 36,000-seater stadium, trying to compete with clubs with huge international resources and money.
Massive echo, mate.
Well, it's not coming from me. It can't be coming from me.
I can't hear an echo. Can everyone else hear an echo? I thought you were okay then, Ian. I can't hear an echo.
Yeah, I can hear an echo as well. But there was noise. I don't think this is coming from me. I haven't got anything else broadcast unless someone's got the YouTube on at the same time. Hang on a sec. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Let me do the. Thank you. Let me just do the rest of the talk amongst yourselves. It's okay. I'll take back control for a second, then, Ian. Don't worry. Excuse me. Why not there before the window, Sean? Appreciate you, Joker. Excuse me. I've got terrible man for the moment. Roy Viking, big up to you. Super sticker, choo to you, Roy. Very interesting stuff going on here. Slip and Coy says, great news for football side, but who knows? Yeah, no one knows, mate. It's a lot of speculation right now, but that's what we're here to do, aren't we? We love to speculate a little bit. That's what we do here. Slip, thank you very much. Choppy Cheese just says, Sean, I just sharted in my shorts with this news. Okie dokie, Chop, mate. You are a very unique individual with your super chats, my man. I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks very much for coming in. Bomber Marinakis by Spurs. Biggest. Big up to you, Danny. Hope you're okay, my man.
Behave, Danny.
And last super chat says, the Super League was enough for me to say Levy out. I will never forget that he was prepared to turn his back on match-going fans. Fair enough. I mean, I think the Super League is where we're going anyway, mate, to be entirely honest. I think that stuff is still around in all but name. Have you just seen the news with Barcelona that got approval to host the first game ever from the top 5 leagues in an overseas? I think, Chad, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we, on the fan show, mate?
Yeah, Miami.
So I think the Super League is here. Chad, let me ask you, mate, as an overseas fan, and also obviously experienced with American sports where ownerships are slightly different, franchises and things.
Yep.
You know, what's your initial thoughts, mate? Do you think this is probably good news, or do you think it will be sort of much of a muchness until, you know, long down the track?
No, I definitely think that there's like some unknowns, but I'm leaning towards more positive, because I was going to say, you could think about it like Levy was a bottleneck, right? He was like the soul. He had his hands in everything, right? So we just diversified. Think about it. Charrington's the money guy now. Paratici's going to be the footballing guy, and I don't think that they would make that announcement that he's coming back full time if they didn't have confidence that his civil, whatever that is not going to be an issue. So he's going to be the footballing guy. Vinay is going to be the face. You just diversified a whole bunch of roles that one guy just had. So I think it's looking in the right direction. Yeah, like American sports is a little bit different. Like, you know, American football, we have salary caps and stuff like that we have to deal with. So you have to be really shrewd with your ins and outs and that kind of thing. So you can't, you know, be at Chelsea and the Philadelphia Eagles aren't selling their training ground to themselves and stuff like that, right? So it's drastically different in that regard. But you can just see the pieces in place, and like even with this transfer window, I honestly don't think they even give a rip about this transfer window. They don't think a transfer window to transfer window. They think in like 5 to 10 year, you know, place. So if they are bringing in new investment, I think they might have looked at this transfer window as like, I think James even said it earlier, like, we're going to commit to the guys that we know are going to be solid guys, right? So Xavi, Kudus, no problem there. Everybody else is just going to be like a try to buy, fill a stopgap, because we know tons of stuff is going to happen, you know, different going forward. They're just like, let's do what we could do for this window, because we're thinking 12 windows from now of like systematically building this club up to whatever. That said, this window has been bonkers compared to what we're normally like. So if that's the change that we're going towards, then I'm 1,000% for it. And I like the fact that not one person has control over everything. That's what an actual real company, how they operate, right? So yeah.
I like this. I really like the sound. I think what you just said there is actually a really good point. Have a finance guy doing the finance, have a football guy doing the football. I know it sounds so obvious when you say it. Of course you would do that. But when you have Daniel Levy doing all of it, listen, there's I think Adrian said at the beginning, no fan cares when a chairman or someone like that leaves. They just move on to the next one. I personally, I mean, everybody can speak for themselves. I disagree. I'm grateful for the training ground. I'm grateful. The stadium's unbelievable. There's so many things that I am grateful for, but that doesn't mean that I want him here. I think that you've done your bit. Now you're going to go and leave. Am I ever going to think back and think, no, I don't care about any of that, I just want the next guy? No, I mean, I think that's quite heartless. I will look at that and go, mate, you have delivered the best stadium in the world. You have developed the best training ground in the world. You have put us, in my opinion, this is why I said to you, Sean, when you ask, when are you Levy in or Levy out? I've always been on that cuff because I'm so happy with what he's done to get to here, but he's never been able to get me over here. So that, for me, it's like, I'm very happy with what he's done so far. I do believe there's better in there. And I think like what you just said there, finance doing the finance, and football doing the football, I just think that's the perfect answer.
And it happens in business all the time, right? If we're really a $4 billion company, compare that to other $4 billion companies that have nothing to do with sports. Like, founders get kicked out all the time.
Yeah, look at the guy from Uber, right?
Yeah, Uber, or like even Steve Jobs, or like anybody. Like they get it to a point, like James was saying, I mean, our stadium's amazing, training ground's amazing, everything's amazing. I just saw that Liverpool's dumping in a bunch of money for their training ground now. Like, he had an incredible foresight. And Sean, you and I think talked about this before. It's like, it's basically replicating the American model, but it's cutting edge over there for right now as far as sports goes. But you can only go so far, and then you can also only go so far if you are trying to do everything. Any business owner knows you have to hire experts and and trust that they're going to be able to do their job, or you're going to stagnate. So they're doing exactly what a business should do. The complicated part is there's emotion involved.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
us as fans, rightly so, we're thinking window to window. We're thinking we just lost to Bournemouth 1-0. We're thinking we didn't get a left winger. But I don't think they're thinking that way. They're like, dude, we're going to get there. Just we're trying to right the ship here. We have to take a step back and go 5 steps forward. Very first part of it is like get this one guy that's controlling everything out of here and get better professionals in each of their individual disciplines to actually, for us to feel comfortable to dump money in. You know what I mean?
Do you think as well? I mean, look, we all hate Chelsea, but one thing that they do know how to do is buy in players and then sell them on values. I feel like the big players that we do buy are worthless by the time we buy them and get them in. I mean, Archie Gray now, if you used to sell Archie Gray, what's he worth? 10 million? 15 million, if we're honest?
Yeah.
And we've got half of our squad is exactly the same. What's Tel worth now? 10, 15 million? You could go for Odegaard. What's he worth? 10 million? So,
wait, why?
Well, because if you're thinking, if you've got
players like their value.
Maybe no, but I'm saying, but what if somebody comes up to buy them now, who is giving 40 million for Archie Gray right now? I think that happens a lot. There's Lamelas, and this isn't all on Daniel Levy. This is one of my biggest criticisms of Lange, Paratici. None of them can sell anybody for anything. 25 million plus Lamela for Hill, and then we let him go for next to nothing. Like, we continuously do that. That's continuously black marks on a business to be losing money time and time again.
31-year-old.
Sorry?
We got 90 million quid for a 31-year-old and Harry Kane. We got 20 million quid for Sonny, who's well past his best.
But Harry Kane's still the best striker in world football.
Those are outliers, though, Sean.
Harry Kane is still the best striker in football as well. There's not like, he's old. He's still the best striker in world football for me.
Yeah, I hear you generally on the table. We don't sell players for
and Son just sold more jerseys than
anyone. He's made them 20 million back. No, he did thank you, mate.
That's what
and he scored a worldy free kick for his new club. But players are only tangible assets on a balance sheet. They're only actually worth what you get for them. You could say Man City squad's worth $1 billion, but it isn't. Isn't worth nothing until you actually get any money for an individual player. They're just tangible assets. But I get the idea when people say they've got a squad worth $1 billion, but it's false.
Do you know what though, guys? Do you know what? Let's we're speculating on the ownership structure. None of us know, and we can go round and round in circles in this one. Now, if we're gonna jump into the world of speculation. Can we speculate a little bit on what might happen in January? If in the next 90 days that there's some announcement of, let's say, I don't know, Qatar coming in, right? Or the Saudis through some
You're going to get me excited. You're going to get me excited.
Sean, you've also got the added
Get
complication.
the baby wipes, lads.
You've also got the added complication.
No, did he?
The football governance bill cleared its second reading in the House of Lords. It's going to pass the Houses of Parliament because they're all in agreement, and we're going to get a regulator whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, I haven't even given it any thought because I don't know what powers a regulator I have. And this is all supposed to protect the league.
It won't matter mate, as long as we get it passed, and if this is
before they're announced.
We're off to Saudi Arabia for the next part of the show.
The Saudis coming, boys and girls. The Saudis. And we got a lot of PSR room. We got some wiggle room to dance through. We got some smart men coming in with the loophole magicians, finding those loopholes, buying ourselves a little feeder club in Belgium or something. Starting to operate like a team that knows how to manipulate the rules. Suddenly all bets are off, and this club's about to go to stratospheric levels. It's going to be exciting, potentially, or nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. But let's get excited about what could change, shall we? It's going to be exciting times. What are we saying?
Well, I always said that we have the best above board legit setup of any football club that I know of, right? Like we're hanging with all the guys that are selling stuff to themselves just based off of like smart business acumen. Could you imagine if we just like dabble in the dark arts a little bit? Like, can you imagine? Like, oh my gosh, dude.
Going to be sensational. Maybe sensational. And it could equally be worse as well, or nothing might change. If in a year's time there's no investment, it's just Charrington's in charge rather than Levy. Levy's just sort of like just sidelining. You know what? I've done my hard work. I got my trophy. It was all worth it. And now I'm done. 25 years done. Everything and anything could happen, or nothing at all could change. But
I'm hoping for a bad boy to come in and break all the rules and splash that cash.
Yeah.
Do it.
You're right though, James. Maybe that's why we did those loan deals at the end there. Without any options or obligations, because you know what? In January we're going to come in, cancel that loan because we're bringing in, I don't know, Lamine
Well, slow down. but for me though, I think the players that they've signed on loan. Look, Paulinho was the best CDM before he left, barring Rodri. And Colo has had so many good spells where you think, God, there's a real good player in there. So maybe they brought him in and said, look, like this is what's going on. Maybe that's what Frank said to Xavi. Look, mate, these guys are leaving. We're getting bought by Saudis, mate. We're building. You want to be part of that? And he's going, yeah, boy. You'll be on 200k for the first year, then you can have 400k for every year after that. He's going, yeah.
Do you know, the more I think about this, Sean, the more I think the only logical explanation here is that there has been increasing tensions between the Levy and Lewis families, which explains why Peter Charrington was brought in. Levy has talked about staying on as a chairman under a new regime. None of that's happening. So whether I suspect there's going to be new investment, but the more I think about this, the more I think there's just been increasing tension. And the Levy, the Lewis family have just said, look, it can't go on and you've got to go, Daniel. The thing about it as well with what is his stake in ENIC, Sean? Because there's significant legal protections for minority shareholding, depending upon the level of your shareholding. In other words, the rug just can't be pulled from under you. And, someone was asking or mentioning before about, well, maybe they're going to buy Levy's shares. But at the end of the day, Levy cannot be compelled to sell his shares. And depending upon the level of minority stakeholding he has, might not be able to be compelled to sell his shares at all. If he doesn't want to.
There's a good article here that explains this. Just come out from the CBS Sports.
Thank you.
So Daniel Levy has stepped down as Tottenham executive chairman, ending a 24-year stint leading the North London side. Spurs have confirmed that there will be no changes to ownership structure at the club following the stunning revelation the longest-serving chairman in the Premier League would depart the club. Day-to-day running of Tottenham is expected to fall to Vinay, who was appointed in April after over a decade at Arsenal. Peter Charrington, director of ENIC and former CEO of City Private Bank, will take on the newly created role of non-exec chairman. Levy departs as one of the most contentious figures. Let's get through that. Answer. Here we go. Levy and his family will remain part owners of Tottenham. They hold a 29.4% stake in ENIC, which owns 86.6% of Tottenham. So 13.4% of the club is owned by minority shareholders. So he basically...
I've just sent you something, Sean.
What's that, mate?
I've just sent you something.
Okay.
If you can get that up, mate, there's investment coming.
I'm not an expert on corporate finance law, but I think if you've got a 25% stakeholding in a company, you basically can't be compelled to do anything without court orders and stuff. But I'm happy to be corrected by someone who's got more experience in this level of finance than I have.
Come on, Tottenham. Please be true.
What's his handle? Can you tell me what his handle is, Paul O'Keefe, specifically? Is it at Paul O'Keefe 1 or something, isn't it?
I'm not sure. That was sent to me, mate. I'm on my phone, and that's where I've only got Twitter on my phone, not on my PC.
I think it says here.
You gotta get him to unblock you, Sean.
He's not interested.
Did you read out the early bit, Sean, that said there'll be no change in the ownership?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says that we.
Yes.
Here we go. Let me just let me get this up instead. Pause.
But that could mean just today, like a month from now. You know what I mean? Like,
I've just got such a good feeling for this, man. I really have got a good feeling. I just feel like, I mean, yeah, I've just got a good feeling. I think that this is going to be the start of something massive.
I heard if ENIC had put funds in and Levy is part of ENIC, why push him out? I heard that their vision and ambition for the club are different to his. They were very frustrated by him. Where's the investment then? They've had funds. I think ENIC themselves are behind it. ENIC still runs, but trying to find the actual. Is this a? There we go. Understand there will be investment as well as a large sponsorship deal for Tottenham. We've known about that for ages. Interestingly, the changes we'll see in management reshuffle as well. Likely Levy stay. Oh, this is from July 11th. This is the shit from ages ago. Yeah, this is ages ago.
Yeah, but because the club has said in that statement, Sean, there is going to be no change to the ownership. So that doesn't suggest there's any sort of takeover move imminent. You don't put statements out like that if they're untrue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you're also looking,
maybe the investment is just maybe the investment is not for ownership. Maybe it's just a sponsorship.
well, that.
but also they wouldn't show all their hands. Surely they wouldn't say, yeah, we're looking for now investment. We're looking for people to come in and buy. Because at the same time, they'll all. I mean, look how it's come out of nowhere. They're not going to show their hands to every buyer or people looking. They're going to say nothing's changed. I'm still here, because they're going to want best money, best value. They're still asking for everything they can physically get. They're not idiots. Let's face it, Daniel Levy's a very, very shrewd businessman. He ain't going to say, yeah, that's it, I want out, I want to sell my bit, because everyone's going to go, all right, well, we'll give you half of what you've valued. It's not how it works.
Some of that O'Keefe stuff, though, suggested, and that's what I've hinted at, that the tension is between Charlie and Vivian Lewis and Daniel Lewis and Daniel Levy, and at the end of the day, this town ain't big enough for the both of us, and Daniel has gone. That, I think, is where we are short term. In other words, I think if people are expecting an announcement tomorrow that there's a £4 billion takeover by Qatar or Saudi or an American conglomerate, I think you're going to be disappointed.
No,
I agree. Let me do a couple of super chats, guys. Mark DaCosta, big up to you, says chairman not dealing with Levy, the final straw. Chairman not dealing with Levy, the final straw. Other people's chairman, I mean. Other people's chairman. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, maybe, but I think that's not, if that is true, that's not new. That's been the case. He's burnt a lot of bridges potentially. But big up to you, mate. Lee B also says, for me, ENIC are prepping the sale of the club. But I think Ian makes a good point, though, right? They've gone out of their way to say that there is no ownership structure. There is no, so at least for the time being. But then at the same time, Daniel Levy said just literally a few weeks ago that he's still involved in all the transfers. So maybe they only announce something when they have to announce something in those regards because of the rules around ownership details. But maybe nothing's concrete. Yeah, appreciate you, Lee. Gary Paul Speed, big up to you, says, me running around Lidl celebrating the news, buying beers to celebrate. Everyone look at me as if everyone's looking at you as if you're crazy. Shackle's finally off. Now pay wages, get players in to win constant trophies. Now he cannot wait. Tell you what, Gary, so it's a little bit more difficult than just paying the wages to bring the players and then everything becomes easy, mate. If it was that easy, everyone would have done it. Look at Manchester United. They pay silly wages, silly money, and they end up with lead balloons and dead weights all over their squad. And I think they've got another couple potentially this summer as well. They haven't learned the lessons. But big up to you, mate. Appreciate the very generous super chat and enjoy your beers. And Adam Gill, big up to you, says, is there a world where Levy was the good doing what he could against Lewis and Charrington is a Lewis yes man and things get less ambitious? Mate, possible. Not what everyone wants to think right now, is it? But it's absolutely possible. We don't know what we're walking into, mate. That's why I always say wait until the dust settles and don't form an opinion on unknowns. Form an opinion on that time for that.
There are known knowns. There are things we know. We also...
I'm not going to waste any more time with that one. It's too long of a clip. Very much appreciate you, Adam. And look, you're absolutely right, mate. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. We shall see, though. We shall see. Lads, final thoughts, man. I've got to bring off because I've got to take the dog out before the 8 o'clock show.
Yeah.
Chad, I'll start with you, my man. What's your final thoughts on this particular bit of news, buddy? Are you excited? Are you keeping your powder dry? What's going on?
10 out of 10. But my final thought is I think whatever is going to happen is already in play, and we're just getting like the news sprinkled out as they see fit. I think it's already done. Whatever that is, I don't know, but I think it's already done, and we're just finding out as they want us to find out. But it sounds positive so far, so I'm here for it.
Appreciate you, Chad. Adrian, I'll come to you, mate. What's your take on it all, buddy?
Well, I hope there is an investor. I hope they come in with at least $1 billion, because that would clear our debt. We owe over 660 odd million on the stadium. We've got 330 odd million. That's without any money added on the players we've brought in, which has got to be amortized over 3 or 5 years, whatever it's 5 years max. So I'd love the debt to be cleared as we release the shackles on the club, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Adrian. Ian, I'll come to you, mate. Final thoughts?
Just echoing a lot of things, but one, be careful what you wish for. The grass isn't always greener. As I was saying earlier when I was interrupted by just one of my neighbours there, I think that history will judge Daniel Levy far better than he is at present. That when people look back in 5, 10, 15 years, particularly if there's more trophies in the cabinet, they will look at the infrastructure that's been built. Let's see what new investment comes, and if so, and if it's the right investment. But let's hope for a long and bright future ahead for the club.
Yeah, I appreciate you, mate. And also to you, my man James, what's your final thoughts, buddy? You excited?
Yeah, well, whether it's good or not or bad, I'm excited to see what does happen. I mean, like Ian said, no matter what you think of Daniel Levy, you have to be grateful for the stadium, the training ground, because that has moved us into the next category, regardless of what you say and what you think. I was always going to ask a question. Do you think that the Lewis apparently the Lewis family, the younger generation, want to take the club to a better place? So do you think the booing, I think it was the last game of the season where they put Daniel Levy on the screen at Brighton and the whole crowd booed, do you think that they do see that and think we're in a bit of a sticky situation here and thought, right, now is the time? So look, going forward, I'm really intrigued to see what happens. I'm grateful. I'm just really excited. Like, let's go. Let's move now. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, same. Listen, I don't know what it means right now, but certainly curious. But I'm not going to sort of jump on any particular wavelength until there's a little bit more of the story sort of falls through the cracks to us. I agree with you, Chad. I think that they're letting us know what they want us to know right now, but there's probably more things that are going to come in the coming days and weeks. Guys, massive thank you to everyone that's joined us. Anyway, this video is sponsored by okjersey.com. If you want the best value shirts in the game, okjersey.com. The QR code is there. You can get £15 shirts with all your badges, your names, all that stuff. And with the discount code Sean, SEAN, you can get 8% off. Can't get cheaper than that. Can't get better than that. Please do go and enjoy yourself. And we will see you in 55 minutes over on the Spurs 5. And I'm sure Ian and Adrian, you've got a show this evening as well, have you?
We haven't, but are we going to have one?
If you want one, we'll have one. We'll go out at 10 because Sean's going out at 8.
If you're going out at 8, yeah, because I'm an hour ahead. Yeah, we'll go out at 10, I think. So we don't clash for you.
I'll set it up, yeah.
All right, guys. Okay. Appreciate you all. And thanks, everyone, for the support. Thanks, boys on the panel. See you later.
Thanks,
in an hour. Take care. Come on, you Spurs. Oh.